get started with our meeting. This is a staff meeting of the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners, April 30th, 2024. Why don't we introduce ourselves first here at the dais?
Chrissy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall-Dumas, Commissioner.
Good afternoon. I'm County Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Charlie Annis, Prosecutor's Office.
Thank you. I do want to recognize we have a special guest amongst others. Kyle Petty is here from the County Commissioners Association, as is Rachel Massoud. They came down for a meeting, and they're here for our meeting. How about that? Yeah, we don't often get people that are that interested, Kyle, so thanks for coming. So we're going to start with the proclamation, and Commissioner, I'm about to turn it over to you. This is a proclamation recognizing National Therapy Animal Day, but I've been asked to remind everyone that in Hamilton County, we have an employee that is a canine. His name is Oliver. He works at the sheriff's office, and evidently he's a cute, large dog. And he works for us. And so I didn't want it to go without saying that we have a canine here that helps the sheriff do her work. But with that, Commissioner, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. We have lots of guests here today. For those that are watching, I am just in love. I love dogs, and I can't stand it. And so I was contacted a couple months ago, Trish, right? Yeah, about getting a proclamation done. And so we were able to get that done, and you brought all your friends and everything. And I said, I really like the four-legged ones because they don't judge you. They fill those empty places, and they just make you feel so loved. So, and I may end up having to get another one, but I'm going to move forward on the proclamation that we have here. And it's a proclamation recognizing National Therapy Animal Day. What was it? Okay. Whereas Pet Partners has designated April 30th as National Therapy Animal Day, and whereas scientific research shows that interacting with therapy animals can reduce stress, relieve depression, slow the heart rate, lower blood pressure, and strengthen the immune system. And whereas therapy animals in Hamilton County are essential and have an essential role in improving human health and well-being through the human-animal bond.
And whereas therapy animal teams interact with a variety of people in our community, including veterans, seniors, patients, students, and those approaching end of life. And whereas these exceptional therapy animals who partner with their human companions bring comfort and healing to those in need. And whereas we encourage more pet owners to consider becoming pet partners and volunteering to help our community by creating greater access to meaningful therapy animal visits. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners does celebrate therapy animals and their human handlers and thanks them for their contribution to the citizens of Hamilton County, Ohio.
Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio does hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 30th, 2024 as National Therapy Animal Day in all of Hamilton County.
So would one of you like to come up and speak to the group? Yeah, thank you. Please introduce yourself when you come up. And your canine companion, I suppose.
He does all the speaking.
There we go.
Hi, my name's Trish Smith, and this is my dog, Rosie. She's my therapy dog, therapy animal. Thank you so much for having us. When I sent in the request a couple months ago, I was so pleased to get such a welcome response back. And it was just awesome, the enthusiasm that we got from you, so thank you so much. As you can see, all of our conglomeration of animals here, we visit many, many facilities in Hamilton County and Northern Kentucky, and I was told earlier, some counties in Indiana as well. So we visit many organizations, corporations, and businesses around the county. And as you can see, we really enjoy what we do. We just hold the leash, we're transportation, and our animals do all the work for us. So again, thank you so much. We're very honored to accept this proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming in. We generally don't have this, there's a lot of levity in the room today, you know? So thanks for bringing that, emotion here to our chambers and for doing what you do for the community. It's really important. My daughter has a dog that they wanted to train into being a therapy dog. So I know she finds that to be very rewarding and something that she really wants to participate in. So thanks for bringing it here to our community. Commissioner?
I just want to say a couple things. I truly believe that things don't happen by accident. And I was wondering about the fact that we have about 5 or 6 of our staff right on this floor who have suffered grief. And I was thinking, well, you can get a grief counselor and all of that. But I'm going to be asking my colleagues and probably the administrator the possibility of having a pet therapy animal, maybe on a particular day or time where staff can go back there and just share and just love on the dog. So that's going to be the next step. So thank you all. So
Can we get a photo with you guys? Okay, we're going to come on down. on, now that the room is cleared. Commissioner Reese asked that we move item 2 to item 1 and do the veteran services second, and if that's okay with you, we'll do that. All right, so we're going to go to the Community Economic Development Assistance Program, otherwise known as CDAP, and Maria Collins is here. Maria, welcome.
I'll look at this one. There we go. All right. Well, good afternoon, Commissioner Driehaus, Commissioner Dumas. Good to see you all today. Once again, Maria Collins, Community Development Administrator, Planning and Development. And I'm here today to present the 2023 Community and Economic Development Assistance Program award recommendations. So just to give some background about CDAP, as it's fondly known, this year is 23 is the 7th year of the CDAP program. The program was created in 2017 to leverage funds for large-scale strategic projects for impactful development. The request can be up to $300,000 in either grants and or loans. The loans have a term of 0%, grants and or loans. The loans have a term of 0% for up to 5 years. Projects should revitalize community assets, spur economic development, remove blighted properties, and promote economic development. The CDAP Advisory Committee is made up of representatives of the Community Development Advisory Committee, which is known as CDAC, that provides recommendations to the administration for county HUD grants, as well as representatives from Alloy Development's Economic Development Committee. The Community Development Division and Alloy Development solicited proposals for the 2023 Community Economic Development Assistance Program from 43 local governments participating in the county's HUD programs. The 2023 CDBG budget is $1.2 million. This is the list of the 2023 CDAP projects or applications that we received this year. We received 11 applications total. Of the 11, 7 projects are being recommended today for funding. The communities and projects that are highlighted in red are the projects that are being recommended by CDAP for the 2023 funding. The first project that CDAP is requesting funding for is Cheviot. CDAP is recommending $300,000, a $300,000 grant for this project. In 2021, Hamilton County Planning and Zoning developed a plan for activating Cheviot's business district. Revitalizing Harrison Avenue was identified as a key component of the plan. As part of this strategy, Cheviot acquired the Capel building, which is highlighted in the red. The county provided Cheviot a $350,000 community revitalization grant to assist in the purchase of the property. Cheviot has an interested party who plans to convert the former Capel building into a brewery with food concessions and entertainment venue. The building has 2 sections, the Harrison retail frontage and the rear storage garage with loading dock off of Gamble Avenue. This project will involve the rehab of the exterior of the property, which includes demolition and removal of the Harrison Avenue retail frontage and construction of a dividing wall between the 2 structures of the building. The project is essential to Cheviot's strategy for driving new economic development in the district. The next project is the Mount Healthy Exterior Facade Improvement Project. CDAC is recommending a $100,000 block grant for this project. This project involves exterior facade improvements to five building facades in the Central Business District located at 7500 and 7505 Hamilton Avenue. The properties are owned by the City of Mount Healthy. The end users are the businesses which will serve the Mount Healthy residents. The businesses that are being assisted with this project include a women's clothing shop, a barber shop, a martial arts studio, and a bar. The next project that is being recommended for funding is the Addison Intersection Improvement and Extension. CDAC is recommending a $300,000 block grant for this project, which involves street improvements at the intersection of Dining Lane and US 50 to increase the safety of drivers in this area and provide a connection that will support future economic development along Main Street in the village's historic commercial core. The improvements will connect their Main Street business district and available development sites with the sole thoroughfare US 50. The village previously received CDBG funding assistance to conduct an intersection improvement study and design a solution to eliminate this safety hazard. This project implements the recommendations from that study. The next project being recommended for funding is Marimont's building rehab for a new business. CDAP is recommending a $100,000 block grant for this project, which involves the rehabilitation of a long vacant and blighted industrial building at 5801 Marimont Avenue for Pease Enterprises, or Pease Doors. Pease Doors will expand its local operations at the project site. The renovated project site will allow the Pease Doors to consolidate current fulfillment and sales service operations into one new facility in Marimont that also provides sufficient space to enable the strong growth trajectory of the business to continue. Proposed renovations include new paint, flooring, repairing ceiling tiles, new showroom lighting, warehouse lighting, rehab of restrooms, and refresh showroom entrance and employee entrance. This job will create 17 new full-time jobs. 10 of those jobs will be for low mod income persons, and they will retain 13 full-time jobs. 7 of those retained jobs are for low mod income persons. The next project is the Wyoming Lachlan Gateway Streetscape Improvement Project. CDAP is recommending a $78,000 block grant for this project, which includes removal of secondary driveway apron into the public surface parking lot located at 508 Van Roberts Place at the corner of Wyoming Avenue and the CSX Railroad, along with the installation of a new landscaping bed, seat wall, and refurbished community signage. Removal of the secondary apron will allow for over 25% increase in parking spaces in the heavily used public parking lot, while reducing unnecessary pavement in order to accommodate new green space and landscaping. The reconfiguration will increase the number of parking spaces from 11 to 14 and will allow for van-accessible ADA parking space. This space that includes heavy pedestrian use will serve the Wyoming and Lachlan Commercial District along Wyoming Avenue. Most of these improvements will be located within the public right-of-way within Wyoming, with the balance of improvements being located on the public parking lot owned and maintained by the Wyoming Community Improvement Corporation. The project location is in the center of a 1,500-foot business district in both Lachlan's low mod area and Wyoming. Lack of parking has been cited as a contributor to vacant buildings in the district. The next project is the Woodlawn Acquisition Clearance Project. CDAC is recommending a $64,000 grant for this project. The purpose of the project is to acquire 1.3 acres of raw land located on Warren Avenue, a small street that connects to Springfield Pike or State Route 4, situated between Riddle Road and Grove Road. The village's long-term vision is to acquire additional properties on the small roads connected to Springfield Pike, with the goal of replacing the existing properties with small storefronts, thereby creating a larger downtown. A district with the potential of making Woodlawn a destination village. Block grant funds would be used to acquire and clear a blighted property to be maintained by the village. And the final project that is being recommended for funding is Lincoln Heights Street Rehabilitation. CDAP is recommending $300,000 for this project. This project involves street improvements on Jackson, Adams, Cary, McGee, and Chester roads. The CDBG funds will support a funding gap from Southwestern Ohio Regional Transit Authority, SORTA, for the above-mentioned streets. As the village undertakes new economic development programs, such as CRAs, Community Reinvestment Areas, and tax increment financing, or TIFs, and enterprise zones to attract new homeowners and businesses, street conditions usually play a significant factor in their decisions. Rehabilitation of these streets will play an important role in economic development efforts within Lincoln Heights. The next steps for community development will be to present, will be to await comments from the board about the recommendations that are made today. And barring any concerns, with your consent thereof, letters will be sent to awardees and non-awardees, informing them of the results of their application. No legislative action is necessary by the board, as you have passed the 2022 action plan in January 2022, which included 2022 block grant funding allocations. However, contracts with each agency will require board action once terms are accepted. And I will back up, that is actually the 2023 action plan, not the 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. We got this memo from you explaining the rationale for what was awarded, what wasn't awarded, well in advance. So I've been through that document, and as a result, I don't have any questions. But I'm delighted to see this coming forward in partnership with all these different communities that will take advantage of this grant. So
Yes.
Thank you for the work that you put in, and thank you to the panel that made the decisions. Commissioner Dumas?
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. And the summary was just excellent. Every question that I had was answered in that summary. And maybe you said this before, but the total amount of money that we were working with for CDAP for this was how much? What did we start out with?
Oh, so the 2023 budget was just over $800,000. We had some previous CDAP funds that were not used that we rolled over into the 2023 CDAP, which increased the budget for the 2023 CDAP from 800 to 1.2 million.
Okay. And what I love about this is, and we've talked about it before, is that we say if we can give as many people a little bit of money to start out to kind of undergird them as they move forward. I thought that was awesome when I looked that we didn't try to do the whole project, but we gave Mount Healthy got everything they asked for, but it was not a lot of money. So I just really appreciate how you're listening to the board, your department, and so trying to take into account the things that we've asked as a board. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation. All right, our next item is the Veteran Services Commission update. We've got Stephen Stanford here and his wife. Thank you for joining. Please come forward. We've talked a lot about the work going on at the VSC, so please present your report, and I'm sure we'll have questions after.
All right. Vice President Driehaus, Commissioner Dumas, thank you for having me. See if I can make this thing work here. All right. Current affairs here, we have a new commissioner. Richard Hedden from the DAV has been appointed by the Common Pleas Court. His first meeting was last Wednesday, or Thursday actually, and my apologies. We now hold 2 monthly meetings on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays at 10 a.m. generally. We have implemented a veteran parking and reimbursement for any visits that they have at the office. So there is no longer the concern of veterans coming in for emergency financial assistance and not being able to pay for parking. So we will reimburse them for that. We are scheduling interviews for the open executive director position. I've already started making the phone calls for the people that we have selected to be interviewed. We will start with a 2-person interview with 2 commissioners and then move to the entire Board of Commission at May 22nd. Last meeting, we approved a new job posting for a new veteran service officer. We also have a deep pool of people who submitted resumes for that already. So we will leave that posting on our website open because our goal is, with the approval of the new budget, if you guys look at it and see, we would be able to add 2 more service officers next year. So we're just going to leave that up to collect the resumes, and if we find somebody that we really knocks our socks off, we'll do everything we can to grab them then and there. Made staffing changes at the Veterans Treatment Court. I now have a Veteran Service Officer, James Massey, attending, kind of to refresh the treatment court options and reintroduce ourselves with the veterans there so they can see what services we offer them and work in concert with the courts. Last meeting, we approved the first ever Hamilton County Veterans Dental Program, which will take care, which will allow for 2 cleanings a year, 1 x-ray or whole scan 365 x-ray if needed a year. So it's very important to me. I'm fortunate enough with the VA to be 100%, so my dental's covered, but I learned how important dental health is for everything. So this is something that when I wanted to become a commissioner, something that I wanted to champion was to make sure these veterans who do not have the coverage get a chance to have their teeth looked at and see a dentist, because we have a lot of veterans who are going into the emergency rooms with blood infections and everything else from bad teeth. So this at least gets them in front of a doctor, and then we can submit them to other programs that we have at our disposal if there has to be a tooth extraction or anything like that. So. All right, you guys should have been given the 20.
So, Commissioner, if you don't mind, I
yeah.
don't know if you have any questions related to that information, but
If you have any questions on it, that please, I'm all about it.
yeah, before you jump to the next page,
Okay.
I just wanted to ask a couple questions. So you mentioned that the meetings are now held bi-monthly, as opposed to what?
Once monthly.
Okay, so you've increased the meetings.
We've increased the meetings because we do have a lot more stuff that needs to be completed.
Well, and let me just say that before our recent conversations with the VSC, we have not had updates on a regular basis from the VSC. So glad you're here I hope these will become regular updates. As you know, the community is very interested in what the VSC is doing. There's a large veteran community here in Hamilton County, and so I'm grateful to you for being here, giving us the updates. We all got the previous context, right? But it's really helpful to see this and some of the improvements that you're making. And as Commissioner Dumas said, it's all good news here. These are all improvements to what was a VSC that was, from what we heard by way of testimony, not addressing the needs of the veterans in a way that other communities are.
it was something that I told you guys I would strive to implement changes for. As you can also see, we got nice new shirts, so we all look official, and I happen to like them a lot. All our staff now wears these shirts, so we know we're identifiable. I noticed that problem when we went to the 513 outreach bus. We didn't have any shirts, and it just didn't look right. So we wanted to correct that immediately, and Pam did a great job on selecting these, and I quite like them. So
Very good. So, and so as you ran through some of these other improvements, are you going to is the next sheet the budget part?
yes.
All right, so I'll hold my question until we get to
No, you're good. Okay.
but yeah, let's go ahead.
All right. Now, what I submitted to you guys, as we had talked, is a proposed updated budget for 2025 to kind of get us more in line with what's needed to provide the services. Unfortunately, the commission has been woefully under budgeted for years, so it was never able to take the necessary steps over the years to implement new programs. This new budget with your guys is okay, and the hope of not enacting any additional board seats, because that would add an additional expense as well, because we'd have to pay the new commissioners. This is in line with what we would feel we need to do a whole lot of good in the county. Adding additional office administratives, starting a driver's program with transportation and vans purchasing, which is something that has been the veterans have wanted, as well as I know the common pleas judges had mentioned that there's something they were surprised we didn't offer as well as you guys were for the parts of the county that are not accessible for the van lines, for the bus lines. We do have a robust program working with SORTA on transportating veterans now, but unfortunately it doesn't cover all of it. So we needed to look outside the box and talk to other counties and see how they did it. This budget also increases our advertising, which honestly, our budget for advertising was non-existent. The advertising budget that was listed was actually just to pay for our website, which also has been revamped. I don't know if you guys have been on that website recently. It's completely new. It shows our meeting minutes, and we will have agendas posted as well as relative events that are going on. Implementing a veteran and spouse eyeglass program is another program of mine that I'm working on. Veterans who are not 30% or more disabled cannot get eyeglasses, and eyeglasses are very expensive. I've learned that the hard way. But we also wanted to look at what we can do for the lower income veterans who may have this struggle, and that we worked on including the spouse in that, where their children will have coverage through pre-existing programs throughout the county as it is. And then one big thing that Pam and I have been working on to initiate is a robust mental health and wellness program, which we do not have one currently for veterans. So it is something that we need to basically get out there for support, set the whole programming gamut of whether it's meetings, counselors, stuff like that we can have and work in concert with the VA. So that's also in this budget. And then this is a Metro bus wrap. I don't know if you guys have seen it recently. This is the approved version that they will be rolling with here very shortly. And I think it looks pretty good.
So just as a reminder on this, this was something that we put in our previous budget to provide free transportation to the VA and to doctor's visits
Yes.
for all the veterans throughout Hamilton County in partnership with Metro. So they're picking up half of the cost, we're picking up the other half of the cost. The total cost to us was like $20,000 or so. We don't know how many folks will take advantage of this opportunity, so that's a flexible number, but in the budget, we put it in for $20,000. And so Metro is covering the cost of all the wraps on the vehicles, and we hope to have some kind of event where we can let the veterans in the community know that this free service is available to them. So that will I think happen in May. I heard maybe the end of May we'll have.
They've already are aware of the programs and stuff. We've gotten a good or bad, the press that we've had in the news has kind of driven up our people calling us about services. And So we've been able to introduce them. The VA is aware of the program as well. So their social workers have utilized it, and they're working with their patients who need transportation that are on the bus line, or if they need to do the door-to-door service, that they go and do the assessment, and then that's all taken care of.
Right, yes, so this, yeah, I'm really pleased that Metro was so receptive to the partnership, and, this commission, as I said, put the money in the budget to make that happen, so really excited about this.
We are very grateful for that. It's a really nice thing, and it's definitely helping the veterans.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks to Daryl Haley for his partnership. So I have one question, Commissioner, before I turn it over to you. So as you talked about the 2025 proposed budget, I'm going to ask Administrator Aludo to remind us of the parameters around the VSC budget, what kind of increase triggers this idea that the Board of County Commissioners then appoints some members, and we had that letter that I had authored, and I can't remember who signed it, to say that we would forego that if there was a need to increase the budget past that 10%, so that that didn't kick in. So Jeff, could you remind us about that provision and whether or not we're kicking it here?
Commissioners, I think you kind of just articulated it, that there is a provision in the Ohio Revised Code regarding a specific budget request from the Veteran Services Commission. I believe it's a 10% number that would trigger the potential addition of the allowable addition of additional board members from the Board of County Commissioners. We've just received this. I know the Budget Office received the budget request on Friday. So, in fact, I just received it this morning. So we're just starting to look at it right now, and we'll be able to talk with the commission and talk with the board about that, and then obviously have some discussion about what the board would like to see as it relates to that.
We very specifically, when I was writing this, wanted to not go overboard. I took the top 10 counties in the state of Ohio and looked at their programs and averages, and then took the need that we need to increase certain aspects of programs more in line with our size of a county. So, I mean, there is a lot of thought that went into this. It's not just random numbers thrown in. Being the third largest county in Ohio, a lot of these programs are necessary for the veterans, and it's something that we're not asking for all of the money that we can have. I thought we worked on a very diligent and reasonable amount on that. So it's 2.9 mil versus the 7.18 mil that we could. I mean, I don't want to do that to the county because it's not necessary. There's no county in the state of Ohio that utilizes their entire budget. So,
and Mr. Stanford did a good job of walking through the specific items that we've seen increase: the veterans relief payments, transportation, personnel, et cetera. But we'll review it through the budget office as well, and work with the commission and with the board to.
Yeah, this was just a prelim for you guys to get your eyes on it. So we're forthcoming on it, because obviously, if we can't get to an agreement, then we have to go back to the drawing board and work in a budget that is within the parameters of what we're allowed.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. So can you remind us, if it were to only be the 10% over the previous year, what would that amount be?
The previous year's budget, I can't remember exactly what the request was, but the budget, I believe, was around 1.1 million, something like
I
that.
think it was like 1.4 is what we asked.
So if you ask for 1.4, and then so
An additional 140,000. It's not. Our 10% overage is not a lot to work, especially with the programs we're trying to implement this year. It's a very fine balancing act for us to try to get programs off the ground this year's budget. So
Yeah, no, I'm not being critical. I'm just trying to understand whether or not that 10% over kicks in. It sounds like it will, so that's fine. We'll have to manage that as we go. But no, I think the community and I think this commission said, hey, we need to do better, we need to do more, and so this is your proposal. So that's exactly what we asked for. So I appreciate your cooperation in doing that, and it's clear to me that you have looked at other VSCs in addition to listening to the community, because we heard the same testimony that you hear about what some of the needs in this community are. So
in fact, I'm leaving here to go to Stark County to look at their cashless voucher system for veterans, where they do not provide any money to the veterans directly. They have a PO system with the landlords or the mortgage companies or the utility companies. So that'll allow the money to get to exactly where it needs to go and quickly, versus the cutting a check to a veteran. It gets mailed out, and we know how the post office is on that. It can be 3-4 days. We want to try to eliminate that as quickly as possible. So that way, and it also stops for any misuse of funds that we have. We're allowed to bring those veterans into the fold again because they will be getting the money to where it's supposed to be going.
Great. Thank you. Commissioner Reese, Commissioner Dumas?
Yeah,
I'll go to Commissioner Dumas
Yeah,
now.
thanks. I had a couple questions. Thank you for your presentation.
No.
Channel 9, Mr. McKee came in, a reporter, and talked about what was going on in the Veterans Commission and what we needed to do. And I'm so proud of our board who immediately jumped into action. We have to make some changes, and obviously you guys listen, and you have made some significant changes. I just wanted to clarify for those that are listening, when you say commissioners, this is a Veterans Service Commission, and that's why you guys are commissioners. So I don't want people to get confused.
Yes, ma'am. It's very confusing.
Yeah,
I did threaten to park in your guys' parking spot downstairs because I said it was commissioner parking, but I was told that wasn't going to fly.
That wasn't going to work. So, but sounds like you guys have created a great plan in several ways. I was looking at initiate the mental health and wellness program, and so that's awesome. You say you're going to be working with the VA administration, but also I don't want you to try to create everything. There's so many entities, nonprofits that deal with mental health and wellness, and they just need to add veterans on that list. So just not try to create it yourself. So, but it's just real obvious that if you speak up, things can happen. You have people supporting you, us and other people in the community. And this is exactly, as was said earlier, what we wanted. And I just love the bus also, and looking forward to the big activity that we're going to work with you guys on for the veterans. So this is, you've come a long way.
I am happy with the progress, and I would love also, Commissioner, if you have any of those entities programming wise for mental health, if you could connect us with it for local stuff, because I am not familiar with all the local programming here. I've always prefer to not try to reinvent the wheel. There's best known practices, and the county has already had these programs in place, and if we can carve out a veterans portion of that, that would be excellent.
Yeah, and I know administration, we have a long list, and we could make sure to give you that. But that's all that I had, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, and I apologize. I was the keynote speaker at the Lucille Senior Citizens Ball that I've never missed, and I think they first did it again since the pandemic, but the buses were bringing the seniors in, so they got started a little late down at the Duke Energy Center, but 1,000 senior citizens, so I didn't want to let them down. But I wanted to say, first of all, this is a new way because one of the things that occurred when McKee's report came out was that we didn't have veteran services coming before the Board of County Commissioners, even during the budget process, like other entities do. And so it was kind of the first time when we summoned them to come, and the first time that we, at least that I know of, that had these reports. I guess 5 or 6 years worth of reports. And you were here in the audience, and because of that outreach, you are now on Veteran Services Commission. And I wanted to say congratulations to you and the new appointees. One of the things that was pointed out in these reports was that there were $0. We got 42,000 plus veterans in Hamilton County. We were servicing like 300, 500, $0 in glasses and those kind of things. They were challenged. So I was glad to see that in your proposal to us that will have some of these things that will also be covered. A couple things I just wanted to make sure. The other part was marketing. And we see a lot of our counterparts, whether it's Claremont County or Warren County. And I always said I thought they were taunting me because during that time, every time I turned on the television, here was another county advertising veteran services. When I woke up, when I was getting ready to go to bed, I said, what are they trying to say? And they also advertise in our stadiums. And so I wanted to make sure, because I don't necessarily see it in here, It may be under your administrative component, but I want to make sure that marketing is pulled out. And
Advertising on here is a $425,000 budget item,
great.
which would be the marketing. And we also, this year, we were able to fix our budget in to advertise with the Reds.
Yep.
So we have the first and third base rolling billboards that we are advertising on those, as well as radio spots. And for opening day, we advertised with iHeartMedia, and they ran like 60 some of our commercials during the entire programming for the day, which is a big deal. That's great. Here, so.
That's great. And then I want to also, I know you and I talked about this too, with the also diversity. And I know that I went to some events Michelle Graves put on. I don't know if she might have just not gotten sponsorship this year, but every year was the first time that I saw African American veterans that were involved. And I know you had spoken with Ligon Ware, who's a Marine, and he's doing some things with the VA. But I want to make sure as we're advertising that we're also hitting all of those markets. And I don't know if sometimes it's better to have somebody that kind of knows advertising and marketing. So hopefully,
I had spoke with Bridget Doherty and stuff. We do have a proposal for marketing advertisement with Urban One.
Okay. Yep.
Lincoln Ware's. I talked to him on the phone. We had a nice chat, and he was able to connect me with his sales team and work out. And we're working on trying to squeeze that in. This year's budget's really tight. Like I was telling Commissioner Driehaus, we are towards the top end, and we're quite possibly maybe breaking the 10% by the end of the year at the rate we're going. But we're trying to implement so many new programs that have been needed and so much to get our faces out there.
Yep. No, that's great. And I do appreciate, I think our kickoff with the 513 relief bus, they had a table, you guys were there, and want to keep some of those synergies with the bus and see, and those are some other areas we can.
We will still be attending that, as well as I was telling Commissioner, we got new shirts because of the 513. I didn't like that we weren't kind of uniform, and people knew.
You didn't like the white banner with the black.
No, we got a new table.
It was pretty old, but you're working on to get some.
Pam already sent me a proposal this morning with a new mock-up of the table, and Pam has really taken everything here and run with it. She's reinvigorated. I want you guys to know that she took a lot with what you commissioners said to heart, and she sat with it, and she's done an amazing job marshaling the troops since we are without an executive director.
So yeah, I like that. And I think the July 20th, the funding that we put in, there's marketing in there. So that could help us till we get to the next phase, because we'll have lots of people, hopefully, saying it again, Saturday, July 20th. Everywhere I go, I'm trying to tell people so they can start putting on their calendar for veterans families, widows. We're going to have free parking. We're at Great American Ballpark. I mean, what better name than you can have for that? So I'm super excited to work with you all, and Anson's done a great job along with you working together. So just wanted to make sure people put that on there. I'm going to keep saying that date till it comes, so people say, no one can say they didn't know about it.
I can't thank your guys' administrative staff more than I thought. I couldn't do this without them. They have been so helpful in allowing us as a commission to grow with the stuff we don't know, as well as planning this July 20th Veterans Day event, which I'm very excited for. First time I was ever in Great American Ballpark was when we did the tour, and it is a very beautiful ballpark. So I'm looking forward to bringing all this stuff to veterans, as well as we did get a commitment from the VA. That is a big deal. They will be there in full force with everything for comp and pen, health and wellness, everything. They will be there, and that is a big step forward for us.
Super excited. So people watching Saturday, July 20th. What's the time? Do we have a time yet? 10 to 2. 10 to 2, Saturday, July 20th, Great American Ballpark. All veterans from all over Hamilton County.
We'll have all sorts of services for them, as well as fun games for the family, batting cages, wiffle ball. The playground will be open for for the kids, as well as free food.
So excited about that, and I want to thank my colleagues, 'cause I know we do budgets, we have to all kind of put in what we're thinking, but 200,000, I wanted people to know out of these meetings, something came out of it. We got $200,000, first time we're gonna have this event. You've got a proposal to try to enhance and get the services to folks. You're actually here, and we're talking with you, so, and getting updates, so these are all positive things, and you got I see the bus and the bus rep, so these are all positive things.
Much as you guys will probably want to see my shining face every time, my goal is to eventually have the executive director attend these, as he would be the day-to-day operations and would be able to answer more questions.
He or she?
He or she.
Have you, what is that process? Have you started it?
We have started that process. We have selected, I think we have 5 applicants that we're going to be interviewing with a 2-person commissioner. And then we'll pare that down to 3, and then have the 3 interview with the full board of Veteran Service Commissioners at our May 22nd open meeting, hopefully. So that's where we're at on that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, one last thing related to this that we talked about back when we were having the very public conversation about this was the bill that's running through the House right now. So just an update related to the Brian Stewart bill. This was the bill to add a couple of individuals to the VSC throughout the state. So it did have a first hearing in March. It's got a second hearing on May 9th, and it's in the House Armed Services and Veteran Affairs Committee. So we'll see how we do on that. This would be, the idea is to add some new members so that some younger people could participate on the VSC boards. So his bill was replacing some folks. An amendment idea would be just simply to add to the membership. So instead of 5, it would be 7. So we'll see how we do. Don't have any idea how the legislature will respond to that idea, but at least it's moving.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll keep track of that.
I wanted to make thank you. One additional comment. That I noticed that your commission is more diverse. You've added some more diversity on there, so that's great. And also, Mr. Richard Hedden will be a great asset for the commission.
I only had a few minutes with him because he was rushed over for the meeting, but I thoroughly enjoyed him, and he definitely champions wanting to move forward to the Veteran Service Commission for the betterment of veterans.
Awesome. Okay, that's all I had.
Awesome. Veterans in Hamilton County, we're on the move.
Yes, ma'am.
I just love hearing all the positive. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I make a motion we go into executive session 12122G3 to conduct a conference with an attorney for the public body concerning MSD.
Second.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.